Here's how I used self-growth to help through my hip surgery. It formed a opportunity for me to improve my positive mental attitude. Positive thinking is another way that people say it. Um, Other groups call it positive self-talk. But a positive mental attitude is really what it is. Prior to my surgery, I always had a smile on my face. I wasn't going to show that I was in pain because as soon as I showed I was in pain, I knew there was somebody that was going to try to take advantage of it. So most people just thought that I walked around with this stupid limp because I thought I was cool, because I thought it gave me swag. They didn't actually know that I walked around with that stupid limp because I was in pain, because I couldn't lift my knees up to my waist. Because in order to walk, you have to like move your knees up high, pick up your feet, right? I could barely do that. So I'd swing my foot around in a circle, like half circle, so I could get it in front of me. Barely lift up my knee. This self-growth came from changing my mental attitude to just from a suck it up mentality to a I'm going to get it done and it's going to be successful because I deserve it. I deserve to live a positive quality of life. Positive mental attitude is what helps us grow. A positive mental attitude is what you frame the situation as. Right? So check this out. The primary care doctor that I had for my hip surgery, they said, your hip surgery, you should go see this surgeon. They referred me to a doctor, right? They all have their own little cliques, their own little networks. So they sent me over to a doctor. That surgeon, he's like, oh, I'll give you some shots. So they gave me some cortisone shots. Big old long needle injected into my hip, gave me some shots. Those lasted maybe like 36 hours at the very most. But I didn't care about the pain. I had already dealt with that. What I cared about was the mobility. I needed to increase my mobility. So when I go back and I see this dude, he's like, oh, I'll give you another shot, but I don't want to do your surgery. Couldn't figure out why, so I asked him point blank, period. Why don't you want to do the surgery? He says, you're too young and it's going to mess up my numbers. Tells me, I was taught that you take the hip replacement from one box and the only other time that it should be seen is in the next box, the one where you're in the grave. Because of the age that I got my hip replacement done at, I only need 2 of them in my lifetime. So I got to start preparing for the other one. He didn't want to put his name on that work. So I was like, fine, cool, appreciate it. And I respect that more than your BS answers that you were giving me. I knew that I needed to find somebody, and I was positive that I could find somebody who was willing to do the surgery at my age, knowing full well that I was going to need a couple of them. This positive mental attitude allowed me to pursue looking at different avenues, robotic surgeons, surgeries that were outside of the country, surgeons that were outside of the country. Like, I looked in different places. I called different states so that I could try to get this surgery done. But I kept on running into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. No, you're too young. Your insurance doesn't cover it. Yeah, we can do it for X amount of dollars. If you go out of country, your insurance won't cover that. The roadblocks that I ran into in order to get my hip surgery done were incredible. It took me probably about another 7-8 months before I found a doctor who was really willing to do it. But I was positive in my mental attitude, saying that, look, I'm going to find somebody. I'm going to get this done. In doing that is how I changed the outcome. So, if you're going through a life change right now, you're going through a real difficult situation, change it from, oh, this stinks, to, oh, I get the opportunity to overcome. Every time that I heard no, oh, I'm getting the opportunity to get closer. I'm going to find somebody. I'm going to find somebody. Every time that I heard somebody say, you're too young, cool, thank you. Let me go find somebody who's not going to be stopped by that. Because I needed somebody who had a positive mental attitude about this surgery as well. You see it, cutting somebody open, chopping off their femoral head, and drilling into their bone, implanting a titanium rod with the ceramic top on side of it. It's not a simple surgery. So I needed somebody who was fully committed and positive that they could help me out, because two positives will actually get a positive result for me, right? This allowed me to find a doctor, and that doctor was like, yeah, as soon as he saw me, he's like, yeah, you need your hips replaced. And yeah, I'll do it. We'll get it done on this day. Great. I waited another 6 months after that to get my hips finally replaced. But I knew at that time, I have an outcome. I have this set in stone. All I got to do is make it to this time. Driving was difficult for me. Like, I couldn't lift my leg to go from the brake to the gas. So I just put my foot a little bit back and I'd use my toe so that I could reduce the amount of movement. But each time I was doing that, I had the positive attitude that, yo, this is only for a little bit of time. It's going to change. This outcome is going to change. I could have been like everybody else around me. Oh, it's going to be dangerous. Oh, who knows what's going to happen. Oh, man, well, there's this virus out there right now. Are you sure you want to do it? Bro, the virus didn't take me out. The surgeries didn't take me out. Other drugs that I did didn't take me out. Other drinking that I did didn't take me out. Why am I going to worry about it? I have a positive mental attitude about the things that I am wanting to achieve. And that positive mental attitude allows me to achieve them. I'm not saying that I don't run into roadblocks. I'm not saying that I don't get hung up on things. What I am saying is that when I run into the roadblocks, when those things happen to me, I still look at it in a positive way, because that's on me. My job is to stay positive with my mental attitude, positive with my thinking, have positive self-talk while I'm doing these actions so that I can get the positive outcomes that I desire.